5, 2, 1.
Who
needs
3 and 4?
Dude, that countdown went to Andrew's public school. I'll tell you that
Dude,
much.
for real. Yeah, everybody calling me out on misspelling Wimberley the other day on our threads.
Come on, though. That's like, it's half the fun.
It's half the fun. What sucks is, when I wrote it, I thought, did I misspell Wimberley?
Right.
And all I had to do was Google it, and I didn't. So I'm a piece of garbage. But I get to blame Emily Larson, Mrs. White, Mrs. Snow, and Mrs. Crawford for that, because they were my English teachers. So you guys were worth every penny of your $20,000 salary.
I love how, like, that was terrible.
Sorry, I don't mean any of that. That was a joke.
I love how, like, all of the biggest mistakes in my life could have been prevented with, like, 1 or 2 seconds of forethought.
I mean, not even forethought. A lot of the mistakes in my life could have been prevented with a millisecond of Googling.
Yeah. Like,
because you don't even have to press search. You just have to type half of a word into Google, and the search bar will answer your question.
And then it's like, no, that won't fit in your butt.
Yeah, well, exactly. And then you have to, well, how do you clean it? Anyway, you got a birthday coming up, dude. How are you feeling about that?
I got a birthday coming up. Oh, man. Okay, total transparency, honesty. It has been a rough beginning of the year. And
well, you can say half year at this point.
Half year, yeah. It's been a rough half year. Like, this past 6 months has been pretty hard. And I'm doing my best, but it is not going super great. Some things are amazing. I look at my finances and my job situation, and I'm very sad. And
but that's motivating you, right?
That's motivating me in some ways.
Yeah.
So whenever I think about turning 32, I think, wow, in so many ways I am further along than I was a year ago, and in other ways I'm so far behind. And it gives me this overall sense of not wanting to celebrate it, which is weird, but I just, like, I was talking to Mom, and she's like, hey, what do you want to do for your birthday? And I was like, I would like to skip it. If I could skip it that day, that would be great.
That's funny. You know, I actually was talking to a few friends. I had a few friends turn 30, 29. You know, I'm getting close to 30 as well, and was talking to a friend yesterday about her friend who's turning 29, and we had this moment of, like, I think these birthdays from 28 to 35, I think no matter where you are in life, you don't want anyone to tell you happy birthday, because somehow, some way, you are completely dissatisfied.
Yeah, in some way you're like, F my life.
Well, I mean, even in yours, one, I love you. I'm very proud of you. You're doing a lot of hard things to get through what has happened over the last 6 months, and I am incredibly proud of you for doing the things that you don't want to do, because that's very hard to do. I will not make you cry on the reaction channel, because that's not what this is for. I'll make you cry.
Although that is great clickbait.
Yes.
Texas cries.
Texas bitch boy is at it again. And,
oh man, that's like every day.
Yeah, shout out Shane Cavett or whatever, a guy I went to high school with, for jumping into our comments a few weeks ago, calling us snowflakes.
I love that.
Thought that was a fun little, like, go Mustangs.
I'm
pretty sure that you got shoved in a locker when you were 15. Anyway,
well, lots of anger.
But everything you just said, you know, you look at your finances, your job situation, it makes you sad. I think there's a reality that if you were about to turn 32 and you had all the money you could ever dream of and the best job you could possibly have, you would look at other things and be sad.
There would still be things. I'd be like, oh, I'm not in as good a shape as I
you would look at your high school sweetheart,
you know,
who's gained 100 pounds and your snot-nosed kids, and think, I'm really sad. So
that's funny, man. You think I had a high school sweetheart? That's hilarious.
I mean, I remember watching William Hamilton make out with you in our front yard. So
yeah, that was fun.
It doesn't count because I didn't say her last name, right?
I think so.
Who knows?
Who knows?
But,
we're going to find out.
All to say, all the crypto bros who listen to this podcast, if you're satisfied with your life, let us know. Because I just perceive it as, it seems like whatever is going well for you, you don't pay attention to. And the things that are not going well are what you focus on. Because as Pastor Ben Stewart says, what we focus on expands. So focus on good things.
Hey.
Do the breath work. Pray to God, Jesus Christ, all the things. Let's see what Tom Segura is up to. What?
There's a penis joke in there somewhere.
Somewhere in there, if we can find it. Dude, okay. Side note, I was in Amarillo. I was in Amarillo. Sidebar. Rabbit chase. I was in Amarillo visiting Slamarilla, which I should have taken a picture of since it's in the Panhandle. And I was there with my lovely wife, and she was there for a baby shower. I went up there with her, and me and my father-in-law went to this art exhibit, which was all of the paintings of the Sistine Chapel.
Mm-hmm.
But they took the panels out individually and blew them up. So you're looking at replicas of the Sistine Chapel, but up close, because usually it's 60 feet above you.
Yeah.
Number one, Michelangelo painted very, very muscular men and women. It's kind of crazy to look at. But the best part is the one panel that's the Adam reaching out to God and God reaching out to Adam.
Yeah.
The thing talks about how Michelangelo painted that version of Adam to be the perfect man physically. So aesthetically, it's the perfect man, and his peener just so little. So I read that and thought, well, that's the perfect man.
I got this.
Call me Adam. Dude. I'm not. So I mean, Google later with Safe Search off.
Yeah.
But if you Google like Michelangelo Adam touching God. The penis literally looks like Michelangelo finished the painting, crawled down 60 feet to the floor of the Sistine Chapel, looked up, and was like, crap. Forgot the penis. So he crawled back up and just sort of squeep.
Just like quickly.
I'm not kidding. Look it up. I should have pulled it up for this, but I didn't know we chased that rabbit.
You know what? We need a Jamie.
We really do need a Jamie. Once we have money to pay somebody.
Once we have money to pay.
Speaking of money, Texas's second richest comedian, Tom Segura, came out with an amazing special, Sledgehammer.
Dude, Sledgehammer is amazing.
Can we just talk about a glow up? For every inch that Bert Kreischer has driven himself into an early grave, Tom Segura has just blossomed, especially since he moved to Texas. I mean, he's always been funny. His podcast is great. Sledgehammer is a great special.
Sledgehammer is so unbelievably good, and they did it in the Madison Square Garden round. So you get the experience of him talking to every piece of the crowd. It's so masterfully created and curated. Yep. He's a storytelling comedian, but all of his stories are so uniquely surprising. He's one of those comedians who you can't possibly replicate the way that he sees the world and the things that he says. Yep. He gets away with saying things that nobody else could say.
He really does.
It's incredible.
Yes. Well, what I like about him, because there's storytelling comedians like Theo Von, who is lying. Or, well, he may or may not be lying. It's that
Mark Twain quote, right? Like, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Exactly. So, like, when he says things like, I thought that guy was a Down syndrome flamingo. Just weird things like that. When Tom is telling a story, he's telling a true story. It's the way he's telling it that's funny.
Well, and it's his reaction to whatever it is happening that is great.
And so and what's cool is because he's Tom Segura, I think Netflix has let him pull clips from his special to post on his channel. Yesterday, he posted a clip that Netflix didn't let him include in the special.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I've pulled it up here because we really need to react to it. It's him telling a story about meeting one of his neighbors in Austin, Texas.
I love this.
I moved recently. Because of you nice folks, I could buy a nice house, and I'm very thankful for that. Well, I mean, all my neighbors, they're like investment bankers and partners in legal firms, and then I'm there. Like, do you eat ass, or what do you do, man?
So Tim Ferriss is for sure one of his neighbors.
Great to have you.
I think the owner of Torchy's Tacos lives near him, too.
United States Senator, I shall not say whom, lives in my neighborhood. Everybody talks about him. I know which house
we know who that is.
I'd never met.
But we don't. He doesn't say who it is.
He doesn't say who it is, but it's very clear.
Well, who do you think it is off the bat?
Off the bat, it's gotta be Senor Cruz.
So the number one on my list when I first watched this is Ted Cruz. Are there any other people who come to mind? I think it's for sure Ted Cruz, but who else could it be in this scenario?
Well, there's only 2 senators, so there's only one other option.
Yeah, who is the other senator? Who is our other senator? Well, he said former too, current.
Oh,
or
he
former.
did say former. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
For a moment, I thought it could be Dan Crenshaw, but
Maybe,
the way
yeah.
Tom Segura said we never see him, I thought, well, he would never see you either, and so
Right.
it clearly can't be him.
Half of Dan Crenshaw's stuff is like, don't be a pussy, and the other half is him laying face down on a table, trying not to let his retina detach.
Which was probably pretty hard. And then a fourth of it is
sure.
him just condescending people in Senate, just so over everyone being dumber than him. I'm really disappointed in him as a political figure.
Oh, I remember
honestly.
whenever he came out, and we were like, President! And then, like, 3 weeks later, after he got on Twitter, we were like, no.
Yeah, like 50 tweets later, we were like, welp.
We were like, well, you're... Okay.
Yeah, odd. So, it could be Rick Perry. It could be.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't say some dude who looks like a Mormon lives here, so it can't be Rick Perry.
Closet Mormon.
He really is a chlorman. So let's see where this is
Now
going.
I'm home from tour, and I decide to start my day with a morning walk, a casual walk. I have some coffee. Let's get the day started. I go for a walk. I walk past his house. He comes outside. I don't say anything, right? But he yells out. He goes, "Hey, are you the comedian?" I go, "Yeah."
It's Ted Cruz.
He goes, "Where do you..."
Yeah.
Well, but also, if it was Ted Cruz, he would have said, "Hola, are you the comediando?"
Two eras comedian?
Tu eres soy
Where
comediano?
does
Soy
motherfucker
comediano?
come from? Hello, it's nice to meet you.
What if it was Greg Abbott?
I go, "I don't know."
Right.
He goes, "You think it's from people doing that?"
The voice sounds
that's
like
Ted
Ted
Cruz.
Cruz,
Moms?
too. It's for sure Ted Cruz.
And he goes, "Yeah."
Ted Cruz.
I go, "I don't know." He goes, "How many people do you think do that?" And he's like, "Yeah." Then, and I'm not making this up,
I would have been like,
could
stop
not
going
make
to those
this up.
websites,
He
Ted.
says to me, "How about daughter fuckers?" I go, "First of all, that's not an expression that anybody uses." Right? No one's
I
like,
definitely
"Check
would
out
have
this
been like,
crazy
stop
daughter
visiting those
fucker over
websites,
here."
Ted.
I go, "If you have kinks, we can talk about them, but not like this. I don't like this at all." And he goes, "Yeah."
Which he's a politician,
And
whoever it
he
is.
just turns
He
around
has
and
kings.
walks into his house. I'm like, "What the fuck was that?" So I keep walking, just contemplating every mistake I've ever made that led me to that conversation.
I feel like only a public servant could make anybody feel this uncomfortable in one interaction.
Pretty much.
For all, or celebrities, for all the
public
crap we
servant
give.
or preacher.
Most pastors are fine.
They're not going to do it
It's-
like this, but they will absolutely make you feel weird.
Well, a pastor wouldn't ask you where the term mother effer comes from. He would ask you, have you effed your mother, just to try and get into your trauma as quickly as possible.
Sure. As quickly as possible.
But, for all the crap we give celebrities for not living in the real world and having no idea having no concept of how to actually interact with people, because they don't, at least they can act. Politicians live in such a weird vortex where they can't even stand in front of their house and have a normal passing conversation with somebody walking by.
Because here's how this conversation should have gone. "Oh, hi, are you the comedian?" "Yeah, that's really great. What's it like to be a comedian?" And that's it. Like, that's a normal conversation.
Again, if it's Ted Cruz and Tom Segura's walking by, he could have said, "Hey, I'm Mexican too."
Yeah.
Like that could have been part of it.
So the only reason I'm thinking maybe it's not Ted Cruz is we haven't heard any show tunes yet.
Good point. Or any Oscar the Grouch references.
Or any Oscar the Grouch. Yeah, fair enough.
So we'll see. Plus, Ted Cruz at any point could
And now I'm walking home, so I walk past his house again. He comes back outside. He goes, "Hey, I didn't want it to end like
that. That means he was
weird."
watching. It's Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
He goes, "I thought about it, and a motherfucker is not somebody who fucks their own mom." I go, "Oh, do tell." He goes, "A motherfucker
He's
is
figured it
someone
out.
who fucks your mom." He goes, that's the most disrespectful thing anyone can do. So if somebody is particularly rude, you call them a mother.
Disagree. Bang your dad.
Wow. I am so impressed that you put that together so quickly. I can see why you may or may not be Ted Cruz. And then I walked away.
There you go. There you go.
It's the best.
Okay. Here's a question, a genuine question, strategy-wise, because you're in marketing, I'm in marketing.
I'm in PR. Sorry.
Right. You're in PR, which, is marketing people. So, like, from a strategy standpoint, he says Netflix won't let me put this out and then clips it out for himself. Do you think that's a strategic move to drive more people to see the whole special? And it's not like, oh, I get to do this because I'm Tom, but Netflix is like, it will be better. Or Tom is like, it will be better if we do it this way.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I have a few thoughts on it from a marketing perspective and PR perspective. Also, I thought you were going, what is Ted Cruz's office going to do about this? And don't forget, I emailed his office 103 times last year, and they never got back to me.
So I feel like we should set up an AI bot to email him 100 times a day.
We should definitely try that, but it has to be in Spanish so that he can understand it.
It has to be in Spanish,
Yeah, or we could have an autistic kid write it, and then he'll understand it.
But it has to be an autistic Spanish kid because we believe in diversity.
Exactly, because if anything is clear from Ted Cruz, vaccines don't make you gay. They make you autistic and a politician. And so
Absolutely.
I personally think it's one of two things. Because Tom is clearly a business dude and is a genius.
Yeah.
So there's a part of me that thinks they did cut this, I think. Yeah. And he decided to release it himself. Not even from a, like, it'll drive traffic to the special. It's already got traffic. Like, business-wise, it's almost like, how much more traffic could we actually drive with clips based on how much is already there? Yeah. I think he posted it just to stay on brand. Like,
that's fair.
This is what I almost said Tom Cruise. Tom Segura does, even, thinking of when I think his second or third special came out and he made a joke about New Orleans. Yeah. And New Orleans came at him on Twitter.
Really mad,
and then he went on Conan specifically to announce his tour dates starting in New Orleans. Yeah. So it's just the type of shenanigans he gets into.
As another famous Texas politician would say, there's a lot of strategery involved.
We have evil doers.
We have evil. Our pets' heads are falling off.
Can you imagine Dumb and Dumber with George W. Bush, and Ted? Imagine the buddy road trip comedy.
Not only can I imagine
Ted Cruz
it, I think
George
we should
W.
pitch
Bush.
it.
Mark Cuban, if you're listening, we have another.
If you're
idea
listening, yeah.
Yeah, but what about you? Do you think what marketing move do you think this was on their part?
I honestly think that it is a genius marketing move to drop we can't release this clip on Tom's Instagram to drive more people to the Netflix special, because as soon as that special drops, the first wave is going to see it, and you really want that long tail in place, but you've got to have very specific drivers. So, like, the special drops, he's on Rogan, and then the next day he drops the clip. So you've got 1, 2, 3 really quick drivers, and that's why I think it's a strategic move, not we can't air this or we cut this joke.
I'm curious. I don't know how many specials are in his contract with Netflix, or if he signed a new one. I would be curious. Like, the furthest outlandish strategy move here would be Netflix did cut this and told him not to post it, and he's at a point where he'd rather release his next special under YMH Studios so that people buy it that direction. So he's just trying to get fired out of his contract, basically.
I feel like if he wanted to get fired, he could have done it way easier.
For sure. I think that's the least likely.
And here's the big
scenario,
thing, right? Is like the Netflix logo is in the clip.
True. So somewhere along the way, Netflix would have had to approve of this in some form or another, right?
In some form or fashion, yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
He's a genius. He's also he is the Babe Ruth of comedy, and here's why. For all the talk that Brent Crystals does about being the Mickey Mantle of the world, not just comedy, and it seems like he is, because if I even behaved like him for a fourth of the time that he does, I would die. So
you would die.
He's right. But Tom Segura, I realized this after his Rogan interview. He called his shot just like Babe Ruth. Watch this.
Shit, I am. I have been fantasizing a lot about people asking me how I lost the weight that I haven't lost yet.
He looks so different in this, by the way.
I just have so many answers. Like, I really enjoy doing. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, dude, it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. Like, you just got to make smarter choices, man. I mean, yeah, drink more water. Look at me. I mean, I've never felt better. I have so much energy. If I can do it, you can do it. And then I eat chocolate souffle as I have. I'm like, well, like next year I'll probably be ready for this conversation.
really quick. Ginny, my wife, is a fan of Tom Segura. I've kind of made her be a fan of Tom Segura.
Right. I don't feel like she has a choice.
but she really does like him, which I also think proves how good of a comedian he is.
Yeah.
And we're watching Sledgehammer, the news special, and at one point she goes, he's funny, but now that he's lost weight, some of his jokes are creepy, not funny.
Yeah.
Like, the way he says things now sounds like a fat guy should be saying them, but he's saying them. Just a very funny little
But he leans in.
He does lean in.
Because, like, you notice the more weight he's
Fucking
lost,
asshole.
Go ahead.
the more he's gone into, like, I might be a serial killer.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even want to, like, lose weight to live long or be healthy. I don't. I just want to be able to make fun of fat people again. And know for sure that they're fatter than me. Because, like, sometimes now, I'm like anybody. I'll be like, look at this fat fucking asshole. And someone will be like, you're fatter than that guy. And I'm like, oh, really? And they're like, by a lot. Like, you should want his body. And I'm like, oh, fuck, man.
So that's him That's him, almost 10 years ago in one of his first specials. Here's him on Rogan.
Stuck with it, man.
Like a couple days ago.
With it.
Tried to. Yeah, I've been working hard at it, actually.
It's crazy. I mean,
looks
you've been
good.
so consistent. It's amazing.
Isn't that weird how that works? That's what I've said that to a few people. And they're like, yeah, that's what happened. I mean, I don't know. I think I had this, I don't know if I told you, like, this mentality before where I would go.
So we're walking through the old way
to,
when he was fat.
Number on the scale. I thought of it as like a finish line. I didn't realize I was doing it, but I was. I was going, oh, I got there.
Right.
And then you just kind of go, well, if you're done, you're done.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of.
Which is probably a problem
progress.
with diet culture and workout
So I just
culture.
realized now that it's.
I think that's most people.
It is every day.
It is life.
It's life. It's part of life. Yeah.
Yeah.
He called his shot in a
Called
comedy
his shot,
special. He literally called his shot. That's kind of cool. I just want to point that out.
Look, he is the Babe Ruth, and Bert Kreischer is the Mickey Mantle.
Is the Mickey Mantle. I wish it was Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle, but
We all
Roger
do,
Maris, other than 61 home runs, was kind of a pointless baseball player. But, we're stamping it here. It's our T-shirt, not theirs. Tom Segura is for sure the Babe Ruth of comedy. And also, it wasn't just the lifestyle piece
There's
that
no way you
he
enjoy
called
being
his
this
shot
fat.
on.
No, you don't. You're a house.
Because there was
And
this
then-
part,
It
too.
doesn't feel good.
And there's a reason why you're running into like chairs that are too small, chairs that might break, toilets that are going to rip off the wall, excursions that you're not welcome on. It's because you're way too fucking big. You're way too big. Stop
He can
acting
say
like
it now.
you're not too big. You're too big.
Too big.
And you're not too big like Dwight Howard. You eat too much. You're eating too much.
You eat too much.
Yeah,
Too much food.
And I've had that. Look, I've had it said to me. No, too much food. You eat. That's too much for one person. I've had it said to me. Okay.
The donut guy.
You order more.
Okay,
too many people. So I've had it said to me.
Yeah, we have it. I remember it in Redondo.
Yeah.
We used to get shamed by how much we ordered together.
Stop. You stop eating now.
Yeah, stop eating now.
So I included that last part. He called a shot. He's the Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
I included that part specifically, and I was going to ask you, who does that make you think of?
Oh, that is 100% Mr. Hooper walking into the donut store in Andrews, Texas, and the donut man Are we allowed? Can
we can definitely do this. We can definitely do it. Well, context, right? Because I was talking. I was talking to a friend about donuts last week, as one does, and was sort of romanticizing about
the Donut Man.
The Donut Man and the Andrews, Texas donut shop,
which were the best donuts in the world.
To this day, I have never had a better donut than
crispier, fluffier, fresher.
So good, delivered with such kindness. If you were of a certain body size, not delivered with abrasive, total body shaming rudeness that I approve of to this day.
Oh my gosh!
If you were a little bit big. And keep in mind, we're talking about a Cameroonian
or Filipino
immigrant.
He was Cameroonian, yeah.
Who came to Andrews, Texas. We're talking about somebody who was 70 pounds soaking wet that would look at fat people that came into the donut shop, and he would literally go, "No donut for you, run lap."
Yeah, and he meant it.
He literally meant walk outside, jog around the block, and then you get it done.
There was your friend Ryan Hooper, Mr. Hooper's dad, walks in.
Yeah.
And me and Dad were grabbing donuts because we would have friends over on Friday night, Saturday morning. We'd go grab donuts, and it was just really great time. So we're waiting in line. Mr. Hooper's in front of us, and the donut man looks at him, looks at his stomach, looks back at him, and goes, "No more donut for you. You too fat." And he meant it. He would not sell him donuts.
He refused service.
He refused service
to the one attorney in Andrews, Texas.
Oh my God!
One time, same scenario. Friends are sleeping over. Dad puts us in the Suburban. We go to the drive-thru.
Shout out, Dad.
And there's a cop, like one of the Andrews County police officers, is in front of us on a Saturday morning picking up donuts and coffee. And we see this exchange going on from the drive-thru window into the car. And then we see the cop get out of the car, leave the car parked in front of us, and jog around the building. Get back in his car, and then the donut man served him his donuts. And we pulled up, we're like, "What's going on?" He's going, "He's too fat, no donut."
Yeah. It was, oh my God, so funny.
Dude, I did not realize how special the donut. I knew it was special.
Yeah.
But talking to this friend about it, it's like when that time that we realized how weird it was that we had like part of my French retarded kids with us in class as a normal thing, whereas now you look back at life, it's a weird whoa, that was a weird moment. I realized the donut shop didn't have a name. It was a cement block building painted green.
I think it was called the Donut Shop.
If that, though. It was just a cement building painted green, and in red letters it said donuts across the top. Yeah. And it was just run by this Cambodian immigrant. No idea how we got to Andrews, and no one knew his name.
Correct.
That's a weird scenario. Am I wrong? Just looking back,
you're not wrong. Clearly he has a name that people knew. We didn't know it.
I don't think anyone knew it because I've talked about the donut shop with so many friends from high school, from growing up, and we're like, "What was the donut man's name?"
We'd have to ask Mom and Dad. They probably knew.
I feel like they don't.
I was so sad when it closed down. He got a little old, a little up in age, and he had a son that he took care of.
Well, it was a daughter, right? Or was it a son and his wife?
So his son and his son was he had some sort of disability of some kind. So I think he got to a point where he couldn't take care of it anymore. But any donut that's good enough to get Dad to get it multiple times a month is a great donut. Every Saturday.
Yeah, to this day, when I buy donuts, to this day, in my head I hear, "You're too fat, no donut for you."
You're too fat, no donut for you.
No donut for you. Just all the romantic relics.
He was the donut Nazi. He was the donut Nazi.
Donut Nazi. He really was, though. So shout out to Andrews County donut guy, the donut shop. Shout out Tom Segura, again, Texas's second richest comedian, probably first funniest at this point.
Oh man,
Big ups to the dude, and the special's great.
We're glad to have you in Texas.
Shout down Ted Cruz.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like we don't have to pile on, but
I mean, there's no need to. Here's the worst part about that story is it's not shocking that the conversation opened with do you know why people use the word mother effer?
Yeah.
Like, that's
how that's just how he talks.
Yeah.
We can't do anything about it.
Just can't. Someone elected him, so there he is.
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
Literally a Sesame Street Muppet gone wrong.
Oh, God. So there's Texas friend, shout out Cheyenne Asgarnia. He is a photographer currently based in Los Angeles. He does amazing celebrity portraiture, public figures, those types of things, animals. And he's been playing around with Midjourney. He has a specific bone to pick with Ted Cruz. And so he's been posting these pictures of Ted Cruz eating hot dogs, like in different photographer styles.
That's awesome.
And it is hilarious. It's the
love
funniest thing. Every day I'm like, all right, what's Ted Cruz up to in
what hot dog is he eating today?
Yeah. What
That's
hot dog
awesome.
is he eating today?
We'll tag him. We'll shout him out. Don't forget, everybody, go purchase shirts, TexishPod.com. Download, like, listen, subscribe. Share this with other people you know. We appreciate everybody for listening. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll be back. We'll be back to some regularly scheduled programming by next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.